of Stillwater, just west on Highway 51. And joining me today is Dr. Dennis Martin, who is our turf grass specialist and also the lead on roadside vegetative management. Now, there's been quite a relationship between ODOT, the Department of Transportation, and OSU. Can you elaborate on that relationship a little bit, please?
I'd be happy to do so, Casey. The cooperative research project between Oklahoma State University and the Oklahoma Department of Transportation began in 1963. That was shortly after the interstate transportation system was put in, and also at that time Department of Transportation workers weren't sure exactly what the best vegetation types were for stabilizing roadsides and having good sight distance for motorists. So the first projects focused on vegetation types, and then later the project grew into how to manage those types of vegetation with different herbicides and mowing programs and the types of weeds that were coming into the areas that were vegetated. And then about 1986 the program grew to not only include research but also outreach training, and it's continued to this day as a research and outreach extension training program between OSU and the Oklahoma Department of Transportation, or ODOT. And then most recently this year in 2016, with the importance of pollinators, not only honeybees but monarchs, and then on many different native insect species, the project has grown into a research initiative for how to improve roadside habitat for those very important pollinators.
And what we were talking about, the current research, is outside of the safety zone, correct?
That's correct. The safety zone extends essentially from the edge of the pavement out to just a few feet above the bottom of the ditch, and that is usually mowed very frequently so that motorists have the maximum sight distance to give them safety in their travels. But that area outside the clear safety zone, the Department of Transportation has a lot of leeway in how that can be managed to the benefit of not only our general citizens but also landowners and for pollinators.
Okay, great. I'm going to go catch up with some of your staff about the research. Joining me now is Lydia Calhoun, who's a research assistant here. And Lydia, can you tell us a little bit about the plots and how you've laid out your research here?
Okay, we have 25 Monarch plots running west of 51 all the way towards 35 towards Perry. And we are looking at 5 different treatments with that. The first would be a check plot, which is not going to receive a mowing.
It's kind of your controlled.
Yes, so we're going to be looking at what it would look like without a mowing cycle at all. The second one is going to be mowed as ODOT would typically mow their roadside. So they received their first mowing June 8th to replicate that Memorial Day mowing.
Okay.
The third mowing is going to receive a mowing in mid-July and then late fall. The fourth will just be a mid-July mowing only, and then the fifth will be a late fall after frost mowing.
Okay, and so the variable is the mowing time, obviously, and when you go out and you look at your plots, what are you looking for?
So we're looking at the milkweed. We're looking at how that
like
milkweed,
this right here, yeah?
Yes, is responding to that mowing cycle, how long it's taking it to rejuvenate from that mowing and be available to the monarch butterfly when it is coming through for the migration.
Okay, so are you looking at just the Asclepia milkweed plant, or are you also looking for any eggs or larvae?
So we're also looking for any eggs or larvae of the butterflies, of the monarch butterflies that are migrating through. So we're checking both underneath and above the plant, checking for any eggs or larvae as we're going through and scouting our plots.
Okay, so you're visually out here on the ground looking for all of that stuff and monitoring the monarch population.
Yes.
Very good. And with all of this, I mean, we're talking about all the good weeds. Are there any bad weeds that might come out of this?
There are, and there's some concerns that we do have with this study. And if you talk with Clayton Hurst, he'll tell you a little bit about that.
Okay, we'll go talk with Clayton.
Thank you.
Thanks. Hi, Clayton.
Hello, Casey.
So it looks like we have some Johnson grass here.
Yeah, we have a small patch of Johnson grass here.
And this is not a good one we want.
This is not on the roadside anyway. It can have several problems for roadside vegetation managers and the traveling motorists as well. So usually this stuff looks a little drought stressed right now, but in certain places, as we get close to the roadside, it can definitely get up very tall and create sight distance issues, blocking intersections or covering signs. So can definitely cause problems for the motorists, and that's one of the reasons ODOT crews come out and they mow this grass, trying to keep it down at a healthy sight distance.
Okay, so we're looking at how we can kind of allow this sclepia to grow, but maybe not the Johnson grass.
Correct.
Okay, is there any other undesirables that we have to be cautious of?
So we have several around the state, stuff like musk thistle, but on this site, a particular site, we have Cereus espinosa, which would be another invasive or introduced species. This stuff right here probably is not causing any sight distance issue, especially out here in the transition area outside of the clear zone, but this stuff can definitely, like the Johnson grass, it's tolerant to a lot of conditions, soil and environmental conditions, so it grows in a lot of areas and definitely competes with the desirable plants that we're trying to promote out here on the roadside.
Okay, so are you using any sort of control methods on these, or?
So in the clear zone area close to the road, ODOT definitely has mowing programs and herbicide programs in place to try to keep those under control. But out here in the transition area, it's mostly just the mowing programs that they're utilizing to help keep this population managed.
Okay. Thank you, Clayton, for sharing this. It's really interesting to know that what we think of just as roadsides are actually a laboratory and a symbol of great relationship between ODOT and OSU.
No problem. Thank you for your time.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.